Hey, good afternoon, guys. Pleasure to see you today. I'm going to be talking about a very important topic I think you're certainly going to want to know about. Today, I'm going to be talking about the best way to prepare for retirement. So, if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Alex. I'm a financial planner, and I help people prepare for retirement, protect themselves, their family, and their assets from illness, sickness, death, and been able to pass on generational wealth. So, today, guys, I want to definitely welcome you to today's topic. As you come on in, if you would, please, if you would, put your name in the comment below so I can make sure that I shout you out directly. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask, I would love to answer those questions as well. And of course, if you would like and share, I would greatly appreciate it. So why am I talking about this topic today? One, it's one that I have been working with a lot of my clients with. We've been talking a lot about the given economic circumstances, how Social Security seems to be in trouble. And we've just been talking in general about the cost of living, inflation. How do you begin to prepare for retirement to make sure that you're going to essentially that you and your family are going to be safe during your golden years? So today, I just really want to be able to expose a few things that I think the traditional financial advisors don't share with you. I think there are some things that you really should know about your traditional approach to preparing for retirement. And today, I just have an example. Trust me, don't become concerned with all this writing on the board. Once we go through it, you will definitely have a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. I assure you. Okay. And after we're all done, if you would like to learn more about how this strategy can help you, particularly in your in preparation for your financial retirement, we'd love to help you in that regard. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So today, guys, I'm gonna be talking about the best way to save for retirement. That's the topic for today. So I have an example on the board here, and I'm gonna walk you through it. And like I said before, it looks like it's a lot, but I assure you, if you stay with me, you're going to have a very good understanding of what this is all about. And by the way, a little disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. I am a financial planner. And if you would like to talk more about your specific situation, let's set up a consultation, no risk consultation. Let's talk about it. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So in this example, what I have here is an example of an individual or person who for the last 30 years, because we want to be able to take a look back in history or look back in time. So we want to be able to look back in time to kind of give us an idea of what might happen going forward. Now, as they always say, past performance is no indicator of future returns. So keep that in mind. So right now we have in this example an individual that saved $6,000 a year for the last 30 years. That is the example that we're going to be looking at. And first, we're going to look at the person's traditional approach, what financial advisors usually tell you to do, what accounts they usually tell you to use. And I'm going to then show you the best way. All right. So let's take a look at it. So here we have, again, this person is going to be saving $6,000 a year. All right. The traditional approach to retirement planning says you're going to put your money in a IRA, individual retirement account, a 401k, which is an employer sponsored retirement plan, 403B, 457, and or a TSP. Now, all these acronyms simply mean that your employer, except for the IRA is the individual retirement account, but all the other accounts are accounts where your employer has a plan that you are able to contribute to in order for you to be able to prepare and plan for retirement. In most situations, your employer will actually match up to a certain amount. They will match the contributions that you put in. Now, let me just give a little disclaimer. Now, it wasn't always this way. And in fact, Eric Banner or Ted Banner, the creator of the 401k plan, actually, he has gone on record to say the 401k was never intended to be the primary way that you save for retirement. It was actually supposed to be a part of what he called the three-legged stool, which was Social Security, a company pension, and then the 401k plan. But somewhere along the way, companies figured out that, hey, you know what? These pensions are getting pretty expensive. And pensions are where if you work for us for a certain number of years, you invest in the company, we will take care of you in your retirement years. Well, they figured out somewhere along the line that, hey, we don't want to do that no more. We're going to shift the responsibility to you. And that's where they said, hey, if you utilize the 401k plan, right, we'll match whatever you put in. And whatever you put in, we'll match it. And that's how you prepare for retirement. So in this example, this is what the individual did. All right. So they put $6,000 a year for 30 years. That means in this case, if this was you, you would have put away $180,000 over those 30 years. Okay. Now, your employer, if it's a 401k, a 403b, or 457, or a TSP, your employer will match your contributions, but not all of it necessarily. They will match up to a certain point. In this case, the employer was going to put in $4,000 on your part. So you put in $6,000 a year. They will put in $4,000 a year for a total of $10,000. All right. So that means at the end of 30 years, you and your employer would have put in $300,000 towards your retirement. Sounds great, right? So let's continue. All right. So over the 30 years, this money in these accounts is invested in the stock market. Okay? Because this money is invested in the stock market, guess what? You're going to be subject to the ups and downs, the returns, good or bad, that the stock market gives you. So over the last 30 years, the stock market on average has given you 10.9% a year on average. Okay? That is what the stock market has done over the last 30 years. Now, what they don't tell you with this 401k plan, and let's look at it. During those 30 years, 20% of those years were negative. So that means 6 of those 30 years, there was a negative return in the stock market. Okay? So that's number one. That's the thing that people don't usually talk about. They talk about the average return, but they don't really talk about the fact that, yes, you are likely to lose money in the stock market. And it's roughly between 20 to 30%. There's a 20 to 30% chance in any given year that your money can be lost in the stock market. So let's continue. What else don't they tell you? They also don't tell you that 401ks, 403bs, 457, the employer retirement accounts actually have high management fees. What are the management fees for? The management, excuse me, the management fees are for them managing your money, trying to make a profit for you. That's what they tell you, right? And that fee is going to vary depending on how large the company's pot, all the retirement funds, how large that pot is, and it's going to depend on who's managing the money. But on average, we're going to say that the fee is 1%. And we know the management fees can be as low as a half a percent, or it could be as much as 2.5%. So we're just going to use a 1% management fee for this example. So over the 30 years, with a 1% management fee, which is charged on the account balance throughout the years, you would have paid $389,000 in management fees. Now, these fees, it doesn't matter if you lose money that year or not. You're still going to pay that 1% fee. It doesn't matter if you beat the stock market returns or not. You're still going to pay that $398,000, right? It's a little bit of a ripoff because actually I'm gonna show you you could do just as well. I'm gonna show you how. Now, over these again 30 years, you and your employer would have put in $300,000. Okay, that money invested in the stock market would have grown to. This is looking pretty good. Your money over those 30 years would have grown to $1,647,000 with an average stock return of 10%. Man, that's pretty good. You're thinking, hey, that's not bad. Now keep in mind, it could have been 2 million, but you paid almost $400,000 in management fees. That came out of that bucket. All right. Now, what else? What else is this money? Part of this money is, or all of this money is not yours. Part of this money belongs to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam, remember, the monies that you put into these traditional 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, 457s, this money goes in pre-taxed or before they're taxed. It grows tax deferred, meaning taxes have not been paid on the earnings. Once you start taking money out in retirement, guess what? That's when they hit you with the taxes. Okay? So in this case, this 1.6 million, which could have been 2 million, but they took out their management fee first. So now you're down to 1.6. Now the 6 million or 1.6, you got to pay taxes on that. And that's going to cost you another $461,000 in taxes. Hey, this ain't turning out so good, is it? It was looking real good at first. So now, after taxes, after management fees, what could have been $2 million, now you're down to $1.1 million after taxes. 1.1 million after taxes. Now, I know you say, that's still a pretty good deal. Meaning you only put in 180,000 of your own money. And that 180,000 that you put in plus your employer, all that good stuff, after management fees, after taxes, it grew to 1.1 million. Now you only put in 180,000. So, really that's pretty darn good. But let's keep in mind the whole thing the whole approach that we're trying to take is we're trying to prepare for retirement. So you have this 1.1 million that you've now been able to save. So the question then becomes, how much can you take out in retirement? All right. So in retirement, after it's all said and done, you want to make sure that your money is going to last throughout your entire retirement. 63% of people who are sitting in retirement right now are really hoping they pass away before their money runs out. And that's a sad figure. So, what traditional financial advisors would tell you to do is say, hey, look, there's this thing called the 4% rule, which says you want to be able to take out no more than 4% of your balance so the money will be able to last you throughout your retirement years. So, in this case, you would be able to take out $45,000 a year to supplement your Social Security benefits that you get every month. Now, I don't know. I don't know about it's. I think each person's situation is a little bit different, and for them to say, "Hey, well, how does this look? How does this work for me? This is roughly about $4,000 a month plus my Social Security. Will this be enough for me to be able to live or keep my standard of living in retirement? Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. Again, that's something that I would be willing to take a look at on your behalf. But here's another little thing that they also don't tell you. They don't tell you that when you take out money from your IRA, from your 401k, 403b, and all these other accounts, right? They don't tell you that now you're going to have to now pay Social Security tax. You have to pay tax on your Social Security. So now, if your only stream of income comes from Social Security, you don't pay any taxes. If you're single in retirement, if you're single, you can make up to, or you can earn up to $25,000, right? And your Social Security is still not taxable. Over 25,000, which this 45,000 would be, you got to pay now tax on your Social Security up to 85%. And it just doesn't seem right or seem fair. So, how many of you guys would love to see a better way? Say a better way. Let me see it in the comments. Put better way. So, let me share with you what we have been able to do with our clients. Because one of the things that we know and understand is these traditional accounts, like I said before, the money when it goes into the account, it goes pre-tax. One of the questions that we always ask people is, do you want to pay tax on the seed, or do you want to pay tax on the harvest at the end of the year after the seed has grown? See, if you're in a 28% tax bracket and you pay taxes on the $180,000 that you paid into up front, that means you would have only paid, let me break out my trusty calculator. That means that you would have paid $50,000 in taxes if you paid taxes on the $180,000. Instead of putting this money in this tax deferred bucket, and if you went ahead and just paid the taxes in the year that you put it into the account, Of this 180,000, you would have only paid 50,000 instead of 461,000. So my question to you is, would you want to pay the 50,000 up front, or do you want to pay the 461,000 on the back end to Uncle Sam when you start taking out money in retirement? So let's look at it. Best way. Let's look at the what I believe is the best way. The best way looks like this. The monies that you set aside, and we're still assuming that you're going to put $6,000 away each year. Okay. Now, if you would have put, instead of 6,000 in the traditional 401k account, if you had put $4,000 in there, okay, your employer would still match up to the 4,000, because we recommend that you invest or you put money in to get the full contribution from your employer. And so since he would, in this case, he would still put in up to $4,000 on your behalf, provided you put in 4,000. We recommend that you do that. It's called getting the match. All right. Now, like I said before, you're going to do 6,000, so that's only 4,000 right there that you put in. So we want you to take the other 2,000 and put it in what's called an STRA account, and I'm going to explain that in a little bit. Well, let me. What is an STRA account? This account is what's called a secured tax-free retirement account. Okay. Now, you're going to put your $2,000 in a secure tax-free retirement account. Okay. Now, if you happen to be someone who's watching this, who's self-employed, like I was, if you're a hairstylist, barber, if you're someone who's a business owner, if you are a self-employed person, what you're able to do is you don't have a 401k that you can contribute to, so you have to kind of create your own, and that's called a SEP IRA. A simplified employee plan is what that is. Okay, that's an IRA that you set up for yourself. So we say, hey, we recommend that you put half your money into one of these accounts, and the other half you put in this secured tax-free retirement account. Okay, so that's a total of $6,000 right there if you're self-employed. In this case, right here, you will be putting in your 4,000 into the 401k still. You'll be putting in 2,000 into a secure tax-free retirement account, and then your employer would be matching your $4,000 right there. Okay. Now, let's continue. If we use this approach, okay, your buckets, I like to call them buckets, your 401k bucket, your secured tax-free retirement account bucket, okay, those two buckets would grow together. They would grow to, get my figures together, they would actually grow to $1,660,000. That looks like it's the same as it is here in this traditional, right? Same thing. Not quite. This secured tax-free retirement account, that's $60,000. The money, whatever monies that grew to, that money is tax-free. You never pay tax on that. You only pay tax on the contributions that you made to your 401k and the contributions your employer made on your behalf. If you are self-employed, guess what? This right here is still taxable, because this SEP IRA is a tax deferred account, but this secured tax-free retirement account, the other $3,000 is not. You don't pay taxes on it at all. It's all, you already pay taxes on that, and now it grows tax-free. So now you have $1,660,000 before taxes. Okay, what does it come to after? A minute, that's less than that. I agree. It is less than that. But here's the difference. The difference is much of this money is still tax free. And because it comes from your secure tax free retirement account, it has a little feature or a little benefit that allows you to turn on what's called lifetime income in retirement. And for that reason, you're able to take out money out of this account tax free for the rest of your life. So, in that case, what you're actually able to get in retirement from your 401k and from your secure tax-free retirement account, you're actually able to get $60,000 a year tax-free because you actually moved some of your money from the 401k and you put it into a secure tax-free retirement account. What else does a secure tax-free retirement account does? It allows you to make sure that you are diversifying your portfolio. So that way, your money in any given year, you're not likely to lose all your money. And in fact, your secure tax-free retirement account has zero negative years. There is no risk of ever losing money in the stock market, ever. Instead, right here, you got a 20 to 30% chance in any given year that you can lose money. When you use a secure tax-free retirement account, there is never a chance of losing money in the stock market, ever. You have zero management fees. There are no management fees to try to make money for you in the stock market because your money is not directly invested in the stock market. Your returns are based on the stock market, but they're not directly tied to the stock market or act directly in the stock market. What else? It is your money grows tax free. Excuse me. Your money grows tax free. You're able to turn on what's called lifetime income in retirement that never runs out. See, of this $60,000, 21,000 actually comes from the secure tax-free retirement account. That 21,000 is never going to run out. The other 39,000 comes from your 401k. Now, that money might run out, but this doesn't. So if you take the 39,000 plus your 21,000, that adds up to $60,000 a year. I think the $60,000 is a year is much better than $45,000. Even though your after-tax amount is less than it is here. See, that's the power of making sure that you put your money in the right accounts, in the right buckets, so that you're able to get the best possible return. Again, it's not always about what you're going to be able to get in terms of the stock market. It really boils down to when it comes time for you to use the money, which one is going to pay you the higher benefit. and give you the longer guarantees, give you guarantees for the longer time frame. That's the difference. And because this money from your secure tax-free retirement account, because when you get this money from here, it is less likely to make your Social Security become taxable because this money is tax-free, and Uncle Sam never has any ability to touch it, to for him to put his hands on it, and you don't even have to report that on your tax returns legally. So that's $21,000 each year. Now, if you only get 21,000 from your secure tax-free retirement accounts, your Social Security will never be taxable. Over here, if you take out 39,000 plus the 21,000, right? It might make your Social Security taxable. But if you have 21,000 coming from here, then you can take less money from your 401k if you don't need it. And then that way, it keeps your Social Security from being taxable as well. So in the end, guys, these are the types of strategies that we use day in and day out with our clients. People who are employed, people who are able to contribute to an employer sponsored retirement plan, people who are self-employed. We even have people who are already far along in their retirement process. Maybe they are already 60 years old, and so they're at a point where they want to make sure that that the money is there for them to be able to access when they retire. So maybe you're 60 years old and you're looking to retire at 63 or 64. Well, guys, let me tell you, the stock market could lose money at any given time. Again, 20 to 30% of the time in any given year, you could lose your money. So if you have money sitting in a 401k, an IRA, or 403b, or 457, I implore you to move monies from these accounts and move it into your secure tax-free retirement account. How do you know how much? There's a little rule that also says it's called the rule of 110, which simply says you take 110 and subtract your years, your age. So if you are 60 years old, if you subtract 60 from 110, that means no more than half of your retirement money should be sitting in stocks. So with that said, guys, there's a link below, or you can comment below, retire. I would love to help you through this process. It doesn't matter if you're at the beginning or if you're at the end of the process. If you're still trying to figure things out, it doesn't matter. We're here to help. So with that, guys, take care. God bless. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.